Hello, this is the main frame of my engine leveler, and I've done some small modifications which I will describe to you in case you fancy doing something similar. What I want to do actually is weld a socket onto the end of this nut so that I can just go on with a socket on the end. Rather, I can just go in with a square drive. This nut's a bit of a funny size. It's a loose 1 1/16. I don't actually know what size it is. I don't have a socket that fits it very well. There used to be a handle that was on it, but what I found was when the jib of the crane was close here, because you're lifting in close quarters, picking things out of the 41 pickup rather, the handle used to hit on the crane. So I took the handle off. The other thing I did was that these brackets had tended to lean in, so I've loosened the bolts, straightened them and tightened the bolts. Same there. At one end there was this spacer and no spacer at the other end. And can you see the way that this is cut away there? And there's a spacer there that sits on the edge of the cutaway. Well, that's my modification. I've made 2 small spacers and cut away the bracket there. Now this spins nice and freely. It didn't do that before because of the cheapness of this. This used to ride down and wedge itself in there. It used to get wedged in there. So I was thinking, well, what can I do to space it up? So what I've done, I've made two spacers that are a nice clearance fit on the screw thread, but they support it up and keep it out of the V of this bent metal piece. So that runs nice and free now. These don't support the weight of the engine when you're lifting an engine. It's supported on a roller that comes underneath. So that was a failed one because it was too short. Right, so what I need to do now is find my socket that I've prepared to go on the end of there and weld it on. Okay, when I've got to the next stage I'll bring you back. There's my setup for welding. I just turned it a hex at a time and you know, put a bead on each time. Had the earth on there so the earth could rotate. So there we are, that's done. I might just grind the worst of the bits off. But the idea there is I can go on there with a spanner or a socket or a, you know, 3/8 square drive to turn it. That's the end of a spark plug socket, that's why it's got a hex on it. But I've got 3 or 4 of those and this was a very cheap one, so I've used that on here. Okay, I'll get it reassembled back up then and show you what it looks like. Hello, look, here's my engine leveler. There's the chains and everything. That was another little mod that I did actually some time ago. See these are square. I kind of clearance those like that. They fit better on the flathead manifolds like that. So there's the thing in place, and what you can see now is that this is quite easy to turn. It's actually still a little bit hot as well. But here's my drill. Let's just plug that in. So that can go in there, and then you can wind it like that. You don't tend to go more than near the middle anyway. Let's get that back in. Popped out. There we go. There we go. So there's a couple of little modifications. I say a couple, 2 or 3 actually. First modification is to put these bushes in here, which makes it turn more freely. It's not binding up. There's no lube on this, so it'd go even easier if it was lubed up. The second modification is to put a remnants of a socket on the end there to you know, so you can put either a spanner on it there, or you can put a socket driver in the end, and then a little bit of clearance in on there. Yeah, that's good, works well. It comes in handy when you lifting the engine out of the 41 pickup. I'll show you one last thing. In the back of my socket drawer I've got some old shackle plates. What I do, I take this out and I put a smaller bolt through and use that shackle plate in there, and that goes, oh, I don't suppose I can show it really, but and that goes directly into there, like that. It goes directly into there, so kind of you get the maximum kind of lift with the jib at the minimum height above this. And you can get the engines in and out of the 40/41 cars and pickups like that. Okay, just one of these little tinkering jobs, you know. I'm tidying up, and as I'm tidying up I'm finding little things. I think my gas is running out because there's porosity in those welds. They're not good welds, not good structural welds, but they'll do for this job. And of course you can go in with a ratchet as well if you want to. That's so free turn in there. Bear in mind it's unloaded. It'd be tighter if it was loaded. That the ratchet won't even click. Yeah. But you know, just you could use a ratchet. Okay, righto. Another little bit of tatting around in the garage. Okay, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye. Hello. I've done another couple of little mods to this. First thing I've done is put an actual bearing there. It's just a, you know, the type that's used as a pilot bearing in the flywheel on the flatheads. And then what I did, I've shortened this part down a little bit, by about that much there, about 1 inch. What I've done, I've fitted 2 used early Ford shackles there, and the idea is that I can hook this hook there, which gives me the swivel thing, or I can take this out, take that out like that, and then this will fit directly into the boom of the engine hoist. Here's the boom of the engine hoist, and there's a slot there. So what I can do is they will go, hang on, they will go up there, and then that bolt can go through there like that. And that gives me that very short lift height that I need to pull the motors in and out of the 41 pickup without having to take the hood off. So there we go. So I think that'll be quite useful in the future, next time I use it. Okay, where was that other thing that I could show you? these are a D shackle and a single link of chain, and what I do, I use these and I put that in there, and then I put this through there, and it just gives me extra lift when I'm trying to lift with the Thixton high rise still in place. I can, you know, extend the chains down using these two things, and what I tend to do is just leave these in these two holes for storage. I just tend to leave those in there like that so that it's held with that, so I can find the parts easily when I need them. So there we go, just some little attention to detail, just tidying up little odd loose ends. Okay, hope you found that interesting, maybe give you a couple of little ideas, and just a little bit of tinkering in the garage. Thanks very much for joining me then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello. I'm I'm still messing about with this. With that fixed to the engine leveler, it would be good if this piece here, that D, would go into here, and it doesn't quite, and it didn't by quite a bit more. I've just took a little cut on the milling machine. Now, you're not supposed to use a chuck with a milling cutter, but to be honest, my this milling cutter doesn't fit into my collet system, so I'll more or less have to use that. It's a very gentle cut, so I will bring it back in and take another little bit of a cut, and just make enough clearance for that to go into there with a little bit of clearance. Okay, let's I will continue. Shall I put the camera on? Let's put the camera on. Okay. Clean the sides of the slot up a bit. That'll do. Okay. There we go. Plenty of room. Okay. The more eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that you haven't seen this before. This was just a chance find at a local metal recycling yard, and it's a machine vise. I believe it is Korean made, but I believe it's made in Korea, There isn't a manufacturer's name on, but it looks the same as a Homge or Homge, Homge vice. It's not in beautiful condition, and it's got a few pecker trails, pecker marks on it, but it is substantially usable. I haven't cleaned it up. This is exactly as I bought it. It doesn't actually open very wide, and to get that piece of metal in, I took that jaw out, but it fit in okay once I took that jaw out. So I'll put that jaw back in. I'll clean it up a bit and possibly start using it. There's my other vise, but it isn't actually great. This one is okay. It hasn't got any marks down there. It is okay. I asked him how much he wanted for it, and he didn't really know, but basically he said, look, it just goes to charity. So I ended up giving him £12, £11 or something. I put my hand in my pocket and I came out with £2.11. So I offered him £12.11 and gave him that and a £10 note, and I bought it. But I looked, and these brand new are about 100 and something pounds. You know, they're a low end, but these are quite expensive to buy even at the low end of the market. Anyway, so that's a little addition to the workshop. Okay, just a bit of tinkering today, tinkering and tidying today. Righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello, here's the vise again. I just cleaned it up a little bit, not gone mad, oiled it, made it nice so it moves nice and freely, and I've taken it off the swivelling base, the rotating base, because it's firmer and it gains me headroom, and I very rarely use the swivelling base option, and I can just get it out the drawer and put it back on the base if I need to. I had to use the bolts that we use with the swivelling base because they have to be short enough to clear those bolt heads there. Can you see in there, look? But they do clear and it works okay. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. It's not an expensive one, but the expensive ones really are very expensive. So it'll do for me on my little milling machine. Okay. Just a little bit of tat from the metal recyclers, and the money went in their charity box. Thanks very much. Cheers then, bye. Hello, some of you might remember this little vise that I got recently. I showed it in a video. It's just a El Cheapo machine vise, but like I tried to say before, even the cheap ones aren't actually cheap. The only problem with it was that the handle wasn't a very good fit, and it had an Allen bolt in there to try and improve things, but I've just made things better. It fits okay now. And what I did, I took a piece of sheet metal. You can see that it's, I kind of cut it so it was a slightly tight fit. I kind of tapped it in and then formed it to, you know, take the shape of the square, and that fits okay now. You know, good enough for the purpose. Yeah, you can give it a tap with a mallet. Part of tinkering, if you'll forgive me, you know, the definition of tinkering is identify something that you don't like and sort of make an effort to improve it so that you at least don't hate it. So as you can see, okay, still not a great fit, but it's good enough. You don't want it too close because you want to be able to just drop it on and off easily. So there you go, a 1 minute video showing 10-minute job. It's just a piece of sheet metal cut with the snips, tapped in, and then a little bit of dressing, and you know, it worked okay. Righto, hopefully that'll give somebody an idea. Identify a problem, work out what you need to do to fix it, and fix it. Okay, thanks a lot. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.